Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing? It's been a hot minute. I hope you're keeping well. Yeah, it's been very busy on all fronts. So this episode is going to be solely dedicated to catching you guys up on what's going on with that, the New Look podcast from this side, and the way the materials are going to be changing in terms of delivery, and not in terms of your ability to access them or join in, but in terms of how we get to grips with the great swath of information that we deal with here at the Deductionist podcast. So, in short, if you have any kind of interest in developing the skill set of Sherlock Holmes, this is the place to be. Right? This is the place to be. The only thing we take seriously is that. That's it. Besides that, everything else is prime for the organ that is feeding all of this information and the skills through. There are arguments to be made that with this particular way of doing things, it doesn't niche in far enough, right? And whereas there is a certain there is a certain truth to that in certain effects that the deductionist and everything else that connects along with it involves things like memory. It involves things like reading people and human behavior and reasoning and critical thinking and in this great kind of cesspool that is online activity, there are niche elements that are required. I refuse. I refuse. I am happy with the kind of numbers that we have because that automatically means by default that we are nothing but interested parties. Then we are nothing but a connected group of kindred spirits working on all of this stuff. In the meantime, is it going to be delivered with the same kind of servile sarcasm that you've come to know and expect from the Deductionist podcast? Of course. There is no other way. Now, with that in mind, first things first, we are split on two fronts now. There will be the behavioral intelligence sessions, and there will be these sessions, right? These sessions will go out every 2 weeks, as is normal, and the behavioral intelligence sessions will go out once a week. Both episodes will always go live on a Friday, but you will have various places that you can join in live with that. If you want to join in live here, make sure you're following along at any one of the Omniscient Insights channels. That's going to be where it is. That's going to be how we're going to be doing this kind of thing right the way through. And if you want to join in with the behavioral intelligence programs and the behavioral intelligence podcasts when this goes out tomorrow, there will be a link in the description box. You will need to be a part of the Facebook group because that's where the live elements go out and the live interactions on that notion. So, what is the difference? What is the difference, you cry? I put forth the very first behavioral intelligence stream that we did, um, me and Bob. You will remember Bob. Bob was the very first interview that this podcast ever had. The very first one. It was with Bob and Jim at the time, and I've been working with those guys before then. I've been working with them ever since. And me and Bob got together a while back after working on the productive communication stuff, which if you don't have the program, there's a link to the free webinar in the description below. You can join in, come and get to grips with the productive communication material at your earliest possible convenience. But we had the idea that we would get together weekly for the behavioral intelligence discussion, which is much more rigorously tasked around the deliverables of the sciences involved. So we are looking to take stock of being fairly specific on pushing aside the pseudoscience, fairly specific on focusing on what works and what doesn't and why. Bob is a veteran police officer of many years, and we've got interviews lined up from all different walks of life, as in different roles, legal, technical, right the way across the industrial spectrum, for how this kind of material is delivered, be it deductively, behaviorally, intelligently. I'm trying to make up verbs on the back of it. So that's where it's going to be split. Here is going to be still focused on the skill sets at hand, still focused and being backed by the refutable research, sorry, the irrefutable research, and the materials that go in. But we're going to be able to look at the implications a little bit further. So we can look at the implications from film, from TV, from true crime, from memory tasks, from philosophy, right? All the way from the Aboriginals of old, right the way through to the Aboriginals today. Really, the reason why it could be considered that this podcast is so varied and so specific in this skill set is because it takes a great many things to be able to achieve that. Not just looking that good in a top hat, but the skill set involved. It is a lifelong pursuit of consistent work that takes into account many, many, many things. So, one of the things that we're driving towards with that in mind is the notion of cognitive offloading and this kind of illusion of convenience with all of our many wonderful devices doing our thinking and our feeling for us, right? But again, as I delivered in my TED talk, it's not like a whistle or a sounding bell or an old man moaning that we should throw away all of our devices and start again. It is about merely reclaiming the possibility of your own mind, right? Reclaiming the possibility of critical and rational thought, which I believe you will agree has very much gone straight out the window in today's current climate, right? If you don't know, if this is your first time here, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Ben Cardle. I have been known as the Deductionist for many years. It was a playful web series that we started, wow, years ago. I don't know how many, almost too many to kind of announce. On the flip side of this, my role nowadays is as an investigator. I run a private security company based in America, and we run training for executive protection and security teams around the States and Europe and the UK. My omniscient development is behaviorally and specifically focused around the cognitive skills of enhancing one's memory, of enhancing one's awareness, of non-verbal communication. That's where my specialities are, and where my repeat exposure comes to in terms of the work that I'm asked to do. Um, that led to me writing the monographs, which was in essence really the book that I wanted when I was training all of this particular material. And that's what we talk about here: how to access these skills for everyone, because it's not just about these security roles, if we consider that an ambiguous term, everyone from the police force to mall security, right? If we consider that the kind of ambiguous term, everyone can use these particular skill sets in order to enhance and develop their interactional qualities from day-to-day life, right? Are you telling me that a AI service of any kind can understand how the people around you are thinking and feeling based on the awareness of their non-verbal communication, or their objects, or the locations that you're in, or their actions that they're taking, and the reasoning of putting it together? No, or at least not yet, or at least not yet, I fear. Um, so we are focused primarily on reclaiming the joys and wonders of what this can do, and that's it. That's it. Good afternoon to board. We take from board that that isn't a scathing retort of the podcast at large. It relates more to my tattoo. No, I'm kidding. It's a BBC Sherlock thing. So That's the behavioral intelligence side of things. Um, and that's that half covered. We have an interview tomorrow live. So if you're in the Facebook group, we'll see you there. And if not, you'll be able to catch the recording. But we have an interview tomorrow with a wonderful woman, um, building off of the most recent episode that we did here around neurodiversity and the various um, requirements of a neurodiverse individual in the deliverables of these particular skills. Boom, that's that, right? High five, gamer. Um, you are you are new. I've I've not seen that username before. Good afternoon. How are you? I hope you're keeping well. Um, and yes, so that's that. On the flip side of this, we also have a number of communities dotted around. We have our Discord, we have our Omniscient community, where we focus primarily on the deliverable of memory and reasoning skills, so much further than my 100-day memory series, and we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a few seconds. Um, okay, we'll get to it now. What are you going to do after 100 days mental upgrade? Um, I've got Thanos ringing in my head now. Sit back and watch the sun rise on a grateful universe. Or is that a little bit too megalomaniacal? I think primarily what I'm going to do is rest. Is rest for 100 videos is a challenge, right? And if you haven't seen any yet, what are you doing? Right? The main scope of this is I wanted a series of miniature accessible bites of information around developing your memory that would have ripple effects into other things, that would have ripple effects into your confidence, that would have ripple effects into your situational awareness, that would have ripple effects into your working role, that would have ripple effects into your relational development, right? That's what I wanted within those particular situations. So I created that series to deliver some of my work on the topic, but also to deliver some of the known techniques of memory in a hopefully slightly different way, personal to myself, but so it scales. So it scales. So all the way back, video 1 and 2, they're very easy to get to grips with, very accessible for anyone, regardless of the experience. And then as we get towards the closing days of the minute, as of recording this now, it is Thursday, and the final day, day 100, is Saturday. And so the most recent challenges have been things like the memorization of 100 items in one go and breaking down precisely how to do it, or the learning of a new skill with no notes and learning it completely from memory, or the spending of an entire day using only your memory and using only the wits at your disposal, right? So they build incrementally. So if you're looking to get random help with the development of your memory, pick any one of them. Pick any one of them and start from there. But if you're looking to follow it like a miniature series of tailor-made memory tactics that you can use to sharpen what it is that you do, then start from the beginning and go right the way through. At best, I think the longest video we did is around 4 minutes, and they are there. I'm going to be refining them into deliverables for Omniscient Insights, so they'll have some extra stuff, again, free of charge. You just requires slapping your name on a list, and I'll send them out to you. That's essentially what I'm going to do with that, and then we go back to the bigger content videos, 10 to 15 minutes, in terms of the diligent focus on a particular idea. This might be a good time to pool our hive minds together, right? What is it that interests all of you over the full experiential growth of information that's been on the Deductionist channel, right? And let me put this here from the get-go. I used to take challenges all the time. I ran deduction experiments. People sent me videos, and photos and objects even, right? I loved it. I still love the idea of practicing every day, but in terms of it being accessible to those online, I had to draw a line in it for me because I was getting hundreds a day, right? And if that was my job, totally fine, totally fine. But that would eat up so much time that I would have to then repurpose elsewhere in order to keep the roof over my head, right? So I drew a line under it all. So that's just to kind of dash your hopes and dreams around that one. But what we also have are the React series we can do, of which this will be specifically focused on the inspiration of fiction. All right, so the inspiration of Sherlock, Psych, The Mentalist, and the reality of the skill sets to delivering in your everyday walks of life. I ain't going to be focused on the body language expert breakdown. I've done a couple of them to deliver my way of doing things in during COVID, but they I care deeply about the reality of delivering this particular skill set, and those kinds of videos don't do the reality justice. It serves pseudoscience and intellectual sex appeal more than the reality of the deployment of the skill set. So I don't do them anymore either. We can talk about the inspiration from other fictional areas for sure, because that involves specific looks at critical thinking and how this wouldn't work because it's too fictional, or this would work because of X, Y, and Z. You just have to make these tweaks, or these tweaks, or these tweaks. So there's some of that we can do in these particular areas. Besides that, there are so many other things that we can look at, whether it's a specific focus on a specific technique, or a specific look at a mystery, or a specific look at how Sherlock would have solved something that's going on today, right? These types of things, and we can look at the deployment of the skill set around there. If any of that takes your fancy, then drop me a comment, let me know, right? Let me know, and we'll bring you more of this insight and these access to these skills as I possibly can. On the flip side of that, to get back to the communities angle, we have a couple of communities, as I say now. We have the Discord, we have the omniscient mental community, and we have my real life Sherlock community. So what I'm looking at doing is finding a home that blends them all, right? That blends them all. Because I want us all collected in one space. I want to get to know all of you, right? Right? High five gamer. I want to get to know you. If you're up for that, board, I already know you. Right? And everyone else. I don't want this to be any kind of distance between the delivery and chat and growth of these skills, because high five gamer will know things I won't, board will know things they won't, and that's the notion of the community around that. So I'm working on a community page that's based on the omniscient website that would be able to house us all, that would be able to take stock of the live meetups, that would be able to take stock of challenges, that would be able to take stock of all the things that we talk about on Discord, and all of the things that we talk about on the omniscient mental platform. That is a paid one though, because that involves lessons. Just to put that out there, there will be difference between freedom paid upgrades. It's my job after all, right? I can't just treat myself like a lady of the night and give it all away for free. I'd love to. Genuinely, I'd love to, because the more people doing this, the smarter I end up becoming, because you go away and work on things and then come and tell me what you've learned, then I get a little bit better on the back of it, right? But this is my business. This is what I do for a living. So these are the steps that I have to take on the backside of it. Um, it's really nice to be a founding member of the Discord community. It's like founding the Justice League. Amazing, amazing. Um, my oh, here we go. Um, I'll just say this as well. My RLS family, the real life Sherlock family, one of the folks in there made a Chat GPT image of us all as detectives, and it's awesome. It's an incredible image. Okay, here we go. I didn't understand about the song lines memory. Are you supposed to multitask, as in to set a specific song to a path with objects on a path and also attach or link? Okay, that's fine. Confusion is in. No problem. Let's do it. There are essentially two ways you can go about a song line. You can take a song that you already know and rework the storage of your information so it works within the song. Now, song lines itself, they're built around singing and rhythmical dance or movement. You don't have to do both. You can do either or. You don't have to do song lines. If song lines don't work for you, go for another memory method. That's a whole thing in that area, right? One of my guys in the RLS team has been working on song lines and having some difficulty. And we're talking back and forth, and he doesn't feel comfortable singing and with the music and movement. So songlines aren't for him. That's the idiosyncratic side of this. Me, I'm a musician, and have a look at me. I'm fairly comfortable with being a flamboyant bell end. So all of this movement and singing, that's fine for me. So consider that first of all. But you can take a song that you already know and work out how information works within the delivery of the song, right? I have the London Underground stored on the Muse album New World, right? So instead of things like from Newborn, link it to the world, link it to yourself, it will be Arsenal sings a tune, right? Because I'm talking about the various stops along the way. That works in terms of how I created the lyrics to remind me of the names of the stops along the way, right? So that's starting with the song first and forcing the information to connect to it. Or you look at what information you have and then you turn that into a song or movement. One of the ways that's a good experience of this is if you look at Marshall Erickson from How I Met Your Mother. There is a scene where they're all in Marshall and Ted's apartment, and they're having the glass shattered about images that they've made of people, and Marshall the whole while is struggling to remember his password to um, see if he's passed the bar exam to become a lawyer, and he turned his legal password into a song that ended in a da 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 because of how many letters were in there. He just sang that, and that mini password is a song line. He'd made the rhythm out of the music. So that's the easiest way I can think to explain that without actually seeing you to feed back off. If you have any extra questions on the back of it, drop them in, and we'll handle it that way. Right? We'll handle it that way. And I know with all of these changes, I risk losing you. I know that. But if it is that jumping to a different website to carry on staying in touch, causes you to consider not doing that, then I would question your connection to the skill set. Right? I'm sorry if that's a little too strong or a little too or a little too forceful, but that is what it is. That's just my opinion. Again, I could be wrong. I could be wrong on the back of it as well. Um, but that's why I want everyone in one place, so we can be talking about these kinds of things, right? So we can get to grips and get to know what's going on and why, right? Am I just changing and changing and changing and changing for the sake of it? I'm trying to find something that works best for all of us that are interested, right? That's the main reason for it. So, like I say, I know I risk causing you guys problems on the back of it, and I'm sorry if that annoys you, but I can't be going to 7, 8 websites a day to check in on you all and help, spend time getting to know you all and having a laugh and making some jokes and building our relationships together. It takes too much time, and I actually have work that I have to do. I only do all of these kinds of things for fun. So that's just me being straight with you, me being as open and honest about the whole thing as I can be. I don't want anything to feel like I'm omniscient as an entity. I want it just to be people first the whole time. So that's what that is. All right. So we've had a good catch up. We've got together on some specific information. You know what's coming. You know what's handling. Um, yeah. How are you? It seems like the world's gone a little bit insane, right? So I hope you're all surviving whatever it is you're going through in your own difficulties. If we can help here, omniscient, provide a bit of fun or a bit of a distraction in terms of these skills, then just join in. Just join in. The last thing is the Deductionist Podcast YouTube channel will be dissolved as well. Now that I know that podcasts can be hosted on the YouTube channel specifically, so there's no need for the extra one that's dedicated specifically to the podcast. It can all be housed under one roof. Streamlining and refining the process, at least for me anyway. So yeah, with that in mind, folks, I'm gonna love you and leave you. Please don't be strangers, right? If you're not in any of the communities already, sign up. Like 90% of them are free, and we're only talking about the development and growth of these methods. So if any of that interests you at all, then you're in the absolute right place. Until that time, take it easy, and I'll see you again soon. All right, guys.